Story 1, edited. Am I the a-hole for refusing to buy my friend's kid's drawing? I, 34F, went on a trip with a group of friends, some of whom have kids and some who don't, including me. One couple has a kid, 5M, I'll call him Bobby, who's super precocious and can be very sweet, but in my opinion is a little spoiled, though he's not a bad kid by any means. During the trip, Bobby made several drawings, and they're the types of stick figure drawings you'd expect little kids to make. I have nieces and nephews around the same age as Bobby, and their artwork is proudly displayed in my office. Bobby asked all the adults whether we liked his drawings, and we made the usual encouragements, and he asked whether we wanted any. So I asked if I could have one, and he asked, "How much will you pay me for one?" I was a little taken aback, and I said, "Oh, I thought we were friends, and so you could give me one as a gift." Bobby's mum then said, "Let's start a bidding war. How much will you pay for Bobby's drawings?" I was pretty shocked she said that because I think that sends the wrong message to a kid. So I said, "No thanks, I don't want to play this game," and just went into another room. Another friend offered Bobby $1, who then countered, and they negotiated from there and settled on some number, and that friend gave Bobby the money. Bobby's mum is now mad that I didn't play the bidding war to encourage Bobby. And this is after all of the adults had spent a lot of time playing with Bobby and the other kids throughout the course of the trip. I felt like all of us had already indulged Bobby quite a bit, but expecting me to bid for the opportunity to give him even nominal money for something I don't even want is too much. I don't feel like I should have to apologise for not playing along. Edit. I've seen some harsh criticism of Bobby's mum, and I want to say that I don't think she planned or orchestrated anything. We've only been friends for a couple of years, and our husbands were friends first, but she really is not the type to do something like that. If it makes any difference, she's also a few years younger than most of us. This was our first group trip together, and let's just say that we learned more about each other than we knew before. Top comments. Not the a-hole. That mum was kind of bullying her friends into giving her kid money for crappy drawings. And my cousin's wife was like that. She used to encourage her kids to monetize every hobby they had and turn them into businesses, even when they were super young, and even hobbies they weren't particularly good at. It just ended up teaching them some pretty problematic morals and values, and the kids ended up disappointed when no one except their grandparents or the occasional aunt or uncle wanted to pay them for whatever random thing they had made that no one really wanted. Story 2, edited. Am I the a-hole for refusing to give up my parking spot to a neighbour after finding out he lied about needing it? I am, 34F, currently living in a condominium building where there are assigned parking spots for everyone. My assigned spot is located near the entrance, which is important for me since I have an injured knee from before, and walking or going up the stairs can be quite tough for me at times. Not long ago, about a month ago, a new tenant named Derek, 38M, moved into the building a couple doors away from me. After about 2 weeks, Derek knocked at my door saying that he wanted to switch places with me because his mother, who stayed temporarily with him, uses a wheelchair and therefore requires this particular spot. I felt sorry for him and switched my place with his. We went to the building manager and did the switching officially. 3 weeks later, I didn't see any elderly women or a wheelchair. I saw his girlfriend park there on a daily basis, and once I heard Derek explaining to another tenant in the hallway that he actually likes this spot more since it is closer to the elevator, and that the other guy probably won't even notice anything. I was irritated at the time but ignored it for a while. However, last week my knee really hurt after falling down on the ice, and the additional distance to cover was quite painful. I asked Derek if we could swap places back, as there did not seem to be any sign of his mother around. He started being defensive and insisted that a deal is a deal and that I would not be questioning his private affairs. When I pointed out that I have never seen his mother, he got mad and said that I am accusing him of lying. And yes, I probably did. I asked the building manager to change our places back, as it was an unfair deal made upon false information. The manager agreed and changed our spots. Derek is now telling others that I backed out of my promise and complicated things, although he was the one lying and doing that in order to gain some advantage. My sister says that I should have left everything as it was because He obviously wanted it more, and that I already made my choice, but I do not think so. Top comments. Not the a-hole. You're absolutely not the a-hole, because reclaiming a parking spot that was stolen from you through malicious fraud is just basic justice. Your contract was nullified the second his wheelchair-bound mother turned out to be a total lie, so take care of your knee and let him cry about it. Not the a-hole. Derek sounds like a piece of work. Just cease any contact with him, unless it's necessary. Story 3. Edited. Am I the a-hole for waiting to tell my college roommates I'm moving out until 1.5 months before the start of senior year? Context. I have 3 roommates, and we moved into a small apartment together in August of 2025 for our junior year of college. Roommate X, F, 21. And I've been living together since freshman year. Roommate Y is her girlfriend, F, 21, who I've known just as long. And Z, non-binary 21, was a mutual friend of theirs who I got along well with. Everything was very nice and chill for a few months until I was feeling very obvious and heavy tension and resentment from X especially. But Y too. I don't have the room to explain the giant fight with X. But the gist of it was that they felt ignored and unimportant in my life because I didn't spend personal time with them and was doing little things that annoyed all of them, but they never communicated any of this to me, leading to me feeling unwelcome and isolated in my own apartment. I felt slightly betrayed because I had known X and Y for 2.5 years and was constantly having breakdowns from being enrolled in 20 credits, being solely responsible for all college and apartment expenses, and preferring to catch up on sleep when I finally had breaks. When I asked why they never told me any of this, X said word for word, "I don't know, I wish I had a good reason." They also decided to ban my girlfriend from the apartment because I didn't want to kick her out at 3 a.m. after a study session, and Z has trauma from past roommates, leading to such a massive breakdown that even X defended me. I never heard a word about this either, until they sent a text saying my girlfriend was banned. This entire situation left me feeling completely misunderstood and irreversibly changed my view of our relationship. Things were okay after that, and I thought at best X, Y and Z were indifferent towards me. I waited until July to tell them I'm moving out. Semester begins August 24th, because I was scared it would make things miserable again for the whole summer. All of them are extremely angry that I waited this long and are all freaking out over someone else moving in. I never stated anything about their behaviour being the main factor for moving out to keep the peace, but at this point they have given me a long list of restrictions and rules for a new roommate and will not sign the sublease agreement until they all meet the person over the phone. And at least one meets them in person. They are adamant they will not put in any effort to make time to meet the sublessor unless they're already free, which is maybe a combined week in the next month, claiming if that wasn't good enough then it was my fault for waiting this long. I know I should have told them sooner, but Z was on a study abroad in another country until 3 days ago, and X and Y have been gone from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. all summer weekdays and gone every weekend, so I don't see how that would have made anything easier. They don't think 1.5 months was long enough to accept this change and seem resentful. Top comments. Not the a-hole. 30 days is typical notice. You gave them more. But what's the deal with the lease? Why are you choosing to do a sublease? And not the a-hole. You gave them plenty of time. There are eviction notices that give people way less time than what you gave. X and Y sound like crappy people, and I'm glad you're getting out of there. I find it very ironic that they're mad you didn't communicate with them soon enough, and yet they haven't communicated with you at all for issues they had, and instead practically cast you out.